Hey guys, today on the table we have the Lenovo LOQ. This is one of the most popular mid-range gaming laptops. If not this year, then definitely of last year. And that's not by the accident. Our configuration comes with an Intel Core i7-13650HX and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060. The main goal of this video isn't just to show the laptop, but to figure out how reasonable it actually is in real life. Games, temperatures, noise, upgrade potential. And the big question, should you go with the Intel version or the Ryzen one? Let's start with how it feels in the hands. The LOQ is not a Legion, and the Lenovo doesn't try to hide that. The chassis is fully plastic, no aluminum, no premium materials, no wow effect. But the plastic feels solid, the lid doesn't flex much, the keyboard deck doesn't cave in, and the hinges are firm and predictable. This is one of the laptops that looks simple but feels like a proper working tool, not a cheap compromise. It weighs about 2.4 kilograms, around 5.3 pounds. For a 15-inch laptop with an RTX 4060, this is a normal. You'll definitely feel it in your backpack, but it won't break your back. The keyboard is a classic Lenovo, deep key travel, tactile feedback, very comfortable for typing. There is a full numpad, which is great if you work with numbers and spreadsheets. The backlight is simple, nothing fancy, but it's even and not distracting. For gaming or working at night, it works perfectly fine. The touchpad is a medium-sized but accurate. Gestures work reliably, no random misclicks. For gaming, you'll disable it immediately anyway, but for everyday use, it's absolutely fine. The screen, though, is one of the more controversial parts of the LOQ. You get a 15.6-inch Full HD IPS panel with 144 Hz refresh rate. The refresh rate is great, perfect for shooters and fast-paced games. Brightness is average, indoors it's completely fine, but in bright daylight you might wish it were brighter. Color reproduction is decent without major shifts, but this is not a display for professional color grading. For gaming, YouTube, and basic editing, it's absolutely fine. For serious color work, not really. And to be fair, Lenovo is honest here. This is a good for the money display. Nothing more, nothing less. And now to the interesting part. The Intel Core i7-13650HX is not a U series or H series, it's an HX series. That basically means it's close to desktop class processor inside a laptop chassis. 14 cores, 20 threads. It handles not only games but also a heavy workload. Rendering, coding, virtual machines, video editing. But there is a nuance. HX processor love power and generate heat, so everything depends on cooling, and we will get to that. The RTX 4060 with 8GB of VRAM is the right choice here. This is the minimum comfortable level for modern games. DLSS, frame generation, solid graphics settings, everything works. Here's some real numbers in gaming performance. No marketing, just practice. Cyberpunk 2077 high settings, DLSS quality, no ray tracing, 70 to 80 FPS average. With ray tracing and DLSS around 60 FPS. CS2 at high settings, 200 plus FPS easily. The CPU performs great. Warzone at medium to high settings, 90 to 110 FPS, stable, no major stutters. Baldur's Gate 3 Ultra settings, 60 plus FPS. GPU fully utilized but no overheating. And here is the important part. The RTX 4060 performs properly because it's not heavily power limited. This isn't a crippled version. Intel versus Ryzen version. Now, the question people actually care about. The LOQ also comes in Ryzen configurations. Short and objective. Intel HX better for heavy CPU workloads, better for emulators, compiling, editing, runs hotter and consumes more power. Ryzen Slightly cooler, better battery life, very similar gaming performance, and if you are buying it strictly for gaming, Ryzen's makes more sense. If you are planning to work and game, Intel HX is worth considering. Now, very important note. When these models first launched, some Lenovo LOQ and even some of the Lenovo Legion models with Intel HX processor had reliability concerns. It wasn't a massive defect, but rather a combination of aggressive factory power settings, high voltages, and sustained heavy loads. In some cases, motherboards failed. This usually happen when running in turbo modes continuously without power limits and without BIOS updates. In simple terms, the CPU was running at its limits for too long, and the power delivery system didn't always handle it well. Two important things. First, Lenovo officially addressed the issue and released BIOS updates that adjusted power limits and HX behavior. On updated firmware, the problem is largely resolved. Second, users can add extra protection themselves, limiting PL1, PL2 values, applying a light underworld, or using a balanced power profile significantly reduces stress on the VRAMs, without almost no impact on gaming performance. In real-world usage, the difference between everything mixed out and a properly tuned system is just a few percent in FPS. But temperatures, noise, and long-term reliability improve noticeably. That's why people are much calmer about HX processor now. Cooling on the LOQ is solid but not magical. Under load, CPU can hit around 90 Celsius, GPU stays around 75 to 80. The important part, throttling isn't aggressive. Performance stays consistent, clocks don't fluctuate wildly. Yes, it gets loud in games, you'll hear it, but the noise is steady, no high-pitched whining or annoying tones. A cooling pad, though, is highly recommended. Let's talk about upgrade and maintenance. This is where the LOQ really shines. RAM is not soldered, 2 slots available, 2 M2 slots for SSDs. You can easily add a second drive. Disassembly is like butter. Straightforward, very smooth. No glue, no hidden traps, no one-time use parts. For people planning to upgrade, this is a big plus. With a battery, there is no illusions here. Office work, browsing, video about 4 to 5 hours, gaming 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half at the most. Remember, this is a gaming laptop. It's meant to be plugged in. And my final verdict. Overall, the Lenovo LOQ 15i-RX9 is solid laptop, not perfect, but strong where it matters. Yes, it has downsides, weight, size, noise, underload, and some CPU tuning nuances, but it also has the main thing, powerful hardware, a strong processor, a capable GPU, good cooling, and solid upgrade potential. If you find this model at a good price and understand what you're buying it for, it absolutely justifies its cost. This isn't a set it and forget it ultrabook, it's a work and gaming machine that really shines in the hands of someone who knows what they want. And now, as always, let's take this baby apart to see what we can upgrade or repair, so stay tuned. Let's go. As always, we start from the bottom of the laptop by removing the bottom cover. Once inside, I can confidently say this laptop is very user-friendly and upgrade-friendly. First thing first, battery disconnect. Safety always comes first. One thing that feels a bit strange to me is the battery size. It's literally small for this chassis, and there is a clearly additional unused space. Lenovo could have installed a larger battery here. Moving on, we have 2 removable RAM slots, and the Wi-Fi card is also detachable. The laptop includes 2 SSD slots, which is great if you're planning future storage upgrades. Next, I'll remove the cooling system, the heatsink and fan. There are a few screws to remove and 2 connectors to disconnect. Important note, installed. On the rear side, there's a port cover bracket that prevents the heatsink from coming out. You'll need to remove one screw on each side and detach the bracket first. After that, the heatsink comes out very easy. If you're replacing or cleaning the cooling system, always remember to reapply thermal paste and replace thermal pads if necessary. Once it's done, the last step before removing the motherboard is disconnecting all the ribbon cables and connectors. Everything is pretty straightforward here, just a few more screws and the motherboard comes out. It appears that all external ports are soldered directly into the motherboard, so if any of them fail, repairs could become quite expensive. After removing the motherboard, I'll detach the LCD assembly. For this step, flip the laptop over and remove the screws on each hinge. Once those are out, the entire LCD assembly comes off easily. One thing worth mentioning, the keyboard is rewired to the palm rest and it's nearly impossible to replace it separately if it fails. I highly recommend replacing the entire palm rest assembly. The touchpad, however, is replaceable. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, love and peace to everyone.